love how they smell. I still have my clips in my hair. That's not how this was supposed to go. If you're new here, hi, my name is Miss Megan Robinson, and you might not know this, but I have worked for MAC for 12 years, and I just have so much information I need to put it somewhere. This video is not an ad, and it is not sponsored. I just want you guys to have the proper information when you're navigating the beauty industry online, because it is very overwhelming and there is a ton of misinformation, and frankly, it makes me upset. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and turn on post notifications so you never miss a post. And if you'd like to learn about all of the MAC blush formulas, please keep on watching. Starting off with basic powder blush. My favorite ones were discontinued many moons ago. I liked Buff, Prism, Cubic. They were my favorite. These kind of operate just like eyeshadow, where there's like a satin finish and a matte finish. Satins aren't as matte and drying as a matte finish. It's not glow, it's just not as flat as a traditional matte blush would be. And then there's also the sheer tone, which is just a little bit more sheer, and I find you can build them a little bit more. That is pink Swoon. And then this one's Mocha, which I wear a lot. It's like my everyday blush. One of the things that you can run into is hard pan, that kind of casing that you get. It's almost like flour and water mixing. It's gonna change the formula and get a little bit hard. So this can be leftover foundation in your brush, oils from your brush that go into the powder, and the powder basically absorbs them. These have an emollient in them, so it helps them adhere to the skin. So it's taking and stealing from the brush or the texture of the foundation on your skin, and then it's getting that hard casing. You can see that it happens on mine. And that's literally because my routine is too wet for dry powder blushes. But it doesn't bother me, I just scrape them off, but it definitely can happen. These also have vitamin E in them as well, or a vitamin E derivative. There's also ones in this packaging that have shimmer to them. So like Peach Keen, Sunbask, they have like a frost finish. So within this family of kind of standard powder blush, there's different finishes. You would have to know if you want something very, very matte, or something that rolls into more radiant, into something that's a little bit more actually shimmery. But when we get into the other formulas, there's things that are like shimmery and there's things that are radiant. When you're swatching blush, watch it on the inside of the forearm. This is specifically for texture. If you're not using a tissue, and when you swatch, the powder can sometimes get stuck to the back of the finger. So it's not that it's not pigmented or it's not doing its job, it's adhering to the oils in your fingertips. That's why using a tissue to swatch your product over a Q-tip as well. Next up is Glow Play. This is one of my favorites ever, and you can just right off the bat see radiance and sheen that the blush has. Somebody who likes Glow Play wants more radiance, kind of plump, healthy looking, glowy skin, and wants something that's a little bit more buildable versus the intensity that a powder could have right away. I like these with a denser foundation brush, or tapping it on with the fingers. Because it's a hybrid of both cream and powder, it's going to still kind of look like it's still going to have that powderiness to it, but it's doing more for your skin. This is also an 8-hour fade resistant formula. This one's my favorite. If you've been following me for a while, blush please. I also really love So Natural. They're all really good. I really need a shade extension for these. There's a polymer in these as well that makes sure that the product doesn't dry out. So if you just left this on your like makeup table or your vanity, it's still gonna perform in the same way. Also dermatologist tested and non-acnogenic. These are also really beautiful on the lip. Wasn't tested for the lip area, but really, really beautiful on the lip. I love this one, like Blush Please with Whirl and Stone for definition, my favorite. Another one of my favorites, this is the Mineralized Blush. So there's Mineralized Matte and then just regular Mineralized. Regular Mineralized obviously has the sheen to it, and then Matte has a more matte finish, but there still is radiance to it. Mineralized is made the same way as well. Liquid slurry is formed, they add the pigments, and then it's baked for 24 hours. So the mineral water basically evaporates, and then you're left with this. And that's what gives it a really soft texture on the skin. And so you can see when you look at this, like how kind of shiny that looks, but when it reads on the skin, it's not. It's just how it's going to reflect light on the skin and make the area look a little bit more softer and more radiant. And then I need more of these. There was two, New Romance and Ray Beam, that were also matte, I believe. They were some of the best blushes, and I really need them to come back. Also, this has that like gray muted tone that I like. This one's sweet enough. That's that one there. So if you don't want something that's a traditional matte, which can be deemed a little more drying or heavier on the skin, that's what Mineral Matte is. These are dermatologist and ophthalmologist tested. I didn't know about the ophthalmologist tested. I feel like this could be a really cool color on the eye. So the really, really tiny like pearlized pigments in there are to help with the smoothness and radiance on the skin. Don't be afraid of glitter. In 2024, we're no longer afraid of glitter or shimmery products because there's a reason behind why the product is like that. If you're like me and your foundation routine is quite wet right away, this will adhere really, really, really quickly. Specifically for, well, many formulas, but specifically for the mineral blushes, I like the 137 because it just glides the product onto the skin and puts like a really, really tiny veil on my already layered skin. Sorry, I forgot these are non-acneogenic too. And then these would be categorized in like a sheer to medium coverage. However, depending on the tone you pick, if it's significantly darker than your skin tone, it's gonna appear as a fuller coverage blush than if you're using something lighter. Next is the Extra Dimension blush, which I think is probably one of the most underrated blush formulas. And this is actually a long wearing blush, so it has a 10-hour wear claim to it. Same thing too, dermatologists, ophthalmologists, and non-acneogenic. This also has squalene built into the formula, which is great to prevent dryness on the skin. So if you are of a drier skin type, you would enjoy this despite how shiny it might look. The metallic kind of pigments and the mica that is in this kind of what reflect light to give that polished kind of look on the skin. It still has a really lightweight kind of airy texture, and the spherical powders that are in it allow for that softness on the skin and smooth application. It's also a talc-free formula, so you can imagine the polymer squalene and being talc-free, that if you're dry, it really is gonna have that smooth kind of glowy finish. But when you look at it, you could be afraid because of how shiny it looks. But again, that shine serves a purpose. I also really love these as blush toppers. If you had a matte blush that was just looking a little bit too flat for you, you can always add a little bit of this over top. I don't know how accessible these palettes are anymore, but they are from MAC Pro, and these were the face palettes. I love these. There's like a contour one. This is the deep blush one. There's a light blush one. And these I didn't realize, if you ever had casual color, which came in little pots, sometimes in like limited collections, they were like a non-sticky, non-tacky, almost like gel-based formula. I love how they smell. Dermatologist tested, non-acneogenic. That actually be a really pretty lip color too, but you can see they're really, really thin and transparent, really, really blendable, highly pigmented. Like you need the tiniest amount because a little goes a long way. Yeah, just so pretty. I love these. And when you're using the 137 that I'm talking about, that's putting that little veil over top of it. So if you can get a hold of these and you like to customize your looks, this is it. What I'm about to show you is probably one of the most underrated blushes from MAC because it's not a blush. The Powder Kiss Liquid Lipstick. This needs to be reformulated into blush because it's one of the greatest, because it has that moussey texture and it's a hydrating but long wearing comfort product that still dries down to that kind of matte-ish satiny finish. It makes for great blush. Date Maker, Impulsive, Feroche, More the Merrier are great. Like they're all great blush shades. I used Impulsive in really old content. I used to wear it all the time. I'll put this on for you. I just think, and especially for me where I like to build color, that is cute. That is cute. And I also love working with liquid or cream products. To be safe, don't do it on the lip and the face if it wasn't tested for that. But in my world, we put everything everywhere. I also think this would be great if it was changed into a blush. Literally keep it the same way, just don't make it a lip product anymore or make it good for both. Is when you think about Powder Kiss being like a blurring, hydrating, soft matte, that's exactly what it is on the cheek. It's a soft matte finish that smooths out the skin. And the color range in terms of blush, it's great. And again, it can operate like a base. Put this down first and then put your powder blushes on top of it. Like this Date Maker was sweet enough. Okay, I'll do it. I already have blush on, but I'll do it. This brush is a brush that needs to be primed. Like it takes a few applications before it picks up in the way that I like it to pick up. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and turn on post notifications so you never miss a post. I hope that this helps you decide what blush formula is best for you or what you're even looking for from a blush. Let me know in the comments what your favorite blush combo is of all time. Don't forget to check me out across all social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all under the same name at Miss Megan Robinson. And until then, I'll see you next time. Bye.